a community.
Have you ever bought yarn where you loved it on the shelf and then you started playing with it and then you realize you don't like it as much? Well, sometimes it has everything to do with the pattern that you're being able to play with. I've come up with a concept called the study of variegated blanket using Bernat blanket. I have quite a bit of variegated Bernat blanket that I loved on the shelf, but then once I started working with it, it didn't turn out how I imagined. So what I wanted to do is that I wanted to suspend the variegated into a piece of the blanket so that it actually almost looks like a quilt formation. And at the time of filming right now, I can't show you the real sample, but it will be updated in the thumbnail when I'm allowed to. So we're going to be using a size 8mm crochet hook. You can decide whatever variegateds that you would like to be able to play with, and there will be more information available about the real sample once I'm allowed to share that with you. So I would grab you can grab a variegated yarn and then grab a solid color that matches that yarn that you think that would go really good with it. And then I'm going to take you through this concept. So I did a palliative size, but you have the stitch multiples given to you in the pattern here to be able to download that, to be able to get all that information if you like to. And it's very easy to change the size on this thing. You just have to make sure that when you do so, that you will change the yarn quantity, but chances are you're probably like me and probably have way too much yarn anyway. We're going to begin to get started next. I've drafted you up a crochet diagram. We're going to get ourselves started right here in the base, and then we're going to suspend the variegated within this section and then go back to a solid color if you're here. So this is going to be repeating from rows number 3 through to 14. Once you get through the cycle of this, at the end of it, when you're happy with the size of it, you are going to go to rows number 3 through 11 only, and then repeat number 2 to be able to finish off your project so that you have the balance on the same side. And chances are I might add a border to my real sample, but I'll have to figure that out when I get there. So, but for now, we'll do this. And if you are going to do a border, what I'm going to do is probably just a simple single crochet around, probably using the color that is considered the solid color. In my case, it'll be a vintage white, and I'll probably use that to frame the variegated even better. So let's begin. I am using a Bernat blanket that has a bit of sparkle to it. So if you see that, it's not wet, it's just sparkling. So what I'm going to do is that you can chain 82 for the palliative size or chain in multiples of 4 plus 2. And that's what I'm going to do with you on camera today. Just do a swatch and show you how it's going to work. So it's very easy to change the size in this thing. So when you go to do it, either chain 82 or you can do the multiples of 4 plus 2. So I'll do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, that's one multiple. If you don't like the size, keep on going. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't like the size, yes or no? 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'll do one more multiple. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Just remember that your chain does shrink about 20%. So if you did 100 stitches, it will shrink down to 80 stitches wide. So keep that in mind. And then you are going to add 2 if you're doing the multiples of 4 plus 2. And now we're going to begin row number 1. Row number 1, we're going to go second chain from the hook. And I'm going to grab it so that there's 2 strands on top of the line. When it's Bernat blanket and it's thick yarn like this, if you grab the back hump like I typically do, it creates a really big gap in the edge. So I always, on the larger yarn, I just get the 2 strands on top instead and just single crochet like that. So it leaves the 1 strand underneath. If you have a preference, please do it the way that you prefer. I always have people saying, well, you should have did it so way. Do it the way that you feel most comfortable, but just single crochet across your chain. And I'll be right back in a moment. When you get all the way across your chain, you're going to turn your work and then do row number 2 together here. So row number 2 is simply just chain up 1 and apply 1 single crochet in each of the single crochets that are there. Please do this all the way across for row number 2. So I'm coming all the way across, and I've gone to my last one. So just give it a good stretch. It is Bernat blanket. And we are going to cut this yarn now. And I do not recommend that you weave this in through, just pull it through the loop. I don't recommend that you weave it through with your crochet hook. Put it onto a tapestry needle or it's going to fall out. Okay, and do this every time you're changing your yarns. And I would do it as I go. So I'm just going to weave it through. Just remember on the first pull, don't pull so much that it changes the shape of your blanket. always through a slightly different path, because if you go on the same path, it'll just be taking it out. And do one more pass. And then you can safely cut that out. And then we're going to move on to row number 3, which is the start of the repeat for the whole thing. As you start row number 3, I finished off here, so I wove in my ends. So make sure you do turn it before you begin. Create a slip knot. You'll have to weave in the end later because of the way that the first one will go in. So we're going to go to the first single crochet that is there and just put it onto the hook already and just attach it and chain 1 and then single crochet into the first. If you prefer to do a standing single crochet, then please do that. And if you're not sure what that is, we do have videos on that. So this round is really, or this row is really quick. So you're just going to chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now you're going to come back to the row, skip the next 3. So 1, 2, 3, and single crochet in the next. It's quite a jump. So we're going to chain 5 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip the next 3. 1, 2, 3. Go to the 4th. This is why it's a repeating of multiples of 4 plus 2. So that you see that you're using everything within a set of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to do this all the way across until you get to the very end. Now, if you're not ready for the end, just put me on pause, and if you are, we'll keep on going. To finish this row, just continue to chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and go skip the next 3 and go right to your last one. Single crochet, and then you're going to turn your work, and you can weave in your ends at any time. I'll do it later, and we'll begin the next row. Number 4. Number 4 is about making the last stitch look like an arch, like it's lifting up. So we're going to chain 1 only, and usually when there's double crochet in the first one, we chain 3 or something, but I prefer just to chain 1, and then we're going to double crochet in the first one right down here. It's going to lift it up higher. You're then going to work your way across, but the very first and the last one has to be slightly different than the rest. So you're going to chain 1 into this chain 5 space, single crochet. And now we're going to only chain 3, and this is what's going to cause it to lift. So 1, 2, 3, come to your next chain 5, single crochet right into the space. So because this space is only 3 and not 5, it causes it to pull up, which is what we're looking for. So 1, 2, 3, next chain 5 space, single crochet, 1, 2, 3, come to the next chain 5 space. Once you're in your last chain 5 space, you're ready for the final. To do that, if you're not ready, just put me on pause. And if you are ready, we're just going to only chain 1, and we're going to double crochet into the first single crochet or the last one, depending on your perspective. That's the very last stitch. And so it's going to look like a fishnetting at this point, and it's going to be awesome. And we'll turn our work and move to your next row. As we begin rows number 5, 6, 7, and 8, it's essentially a C to C or corner to corner, but in rows. But the very first one, number 5, has to be done differently because it's not been established yet. And if you're noticing it, that's going to buckle, it's going to open out on you, okay? Because the stitches will cause that to happen, so don't worry about that yet. So we're going to begin number 5. It's different from number 6, 7, and 8. So you're going to begin by chaining 2. It's a builder. And in the same stitch where this is coming out of, you're going to apply 2 double crochet. Okay. So now you're going to reach over to this single crochet right here. And you're going to single crochet, and here's your repeat. So single crochet in that spot, chain 2, and 2 double crochets also into that same stitch. This is what's going to make the variegated look amazing. It's this stitch alone. It's a fluke that I figured this out, by the way. So once that's done, you reach over to the next single crochet right here. So a single crochet into it, chain 2, and 2 double crochets into that same stitch. So what's making this different from the rest of the other C2C is that we are going to be using the chain 2 spaces instead of just everything all into a single crochet like this. So reach over to the next single, so a single crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochet. So if you understand that, just keep on going, and if you don't, just reverse back, but you see how the corner to corner is looking now. And so once you get closer to the end, okay, if you're ready for that, is that you're going to go right into this last single crochet here. And this one is different from the rest of it. So you're going to chain 2, and in the same one here, instead of 2 double crochet, you're going to do a double crochet 2 together using that one, and then using the last chain 2 right here. So wrap the hook going into that single crochet, pull through 2, and hold it, and then wrap the hook and going into the chain 2 on the end, and that'll keep your sides flat, and then pull through all 3. Okay, so if it's indentating in a little bit, don't worry about it. Again, it works out. So let's turn our work, and we're going to do rows number 6, 7, and 8. It's all the same, but I'm going to give you a little bit of a tip as well. Number 6, here we go. We're going to start by chaining 2. And in the very one that this is coming out of, okay, you are going to apply 2 double crochet. That'll keep your edges nice. Now, you were looking for this chain 2 space right here. And in that space, you were going to apply a single crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochets all within that space. Okay, so it shares everything. The next one is this space right here. It's the chain 2 space. So a single crochet first, chain 2, 2 double crochet. Next space, single crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. And that's all you're doing all the way across. Next space, single crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. So you're going to come all the way to this space right here. Okay. So now what we have to do is so we're going to do our next space here, but this space is different from the rest of it. And it's going to feel weird, but you got to trust the system. So it's going to, in this space here, you're going to link this chain 2 space to the end here. So, but before you do that, you've already single crocheted in. So you're going to chain 2, and you're going to do a 2 together double crochet using this space and the last chain 2 right here. So just come on in, pull through 2 and hold it, come into your last chain 2, pull through 2 and hold it, and then pull through all 3. And what that does is it makes it flat. Okay, so you may see it indent a little bit, but that's okay. Okay, it needs a really good stretch. And then we're going to turn our work and do the next row. Row number 7 is exactly the same as number 6, but I'll go through it again. And it is chaining 2, and in the same beginning stitch right here, it's going to be 2 double crochet. So you're going to play within this chain 2 space right here. See how it's kind of open? So you're going to single crochet into there, chain 2, and 2 double crochet all in that same space. Okay, and now you just work your way across. So you look for the next chain 2 space right over here. So single, chain 2, and 2 double crochet all in the same space. And you're just going to whip your way across doing that. So single into the space, chain 2, come into your last space right here. So we are in the last space right now, so we have to link this space to the end. So to start, we're going to chain 2 and do a 2 together using this space and the last chain 2. Feels wrong, but it works. I don't know why it works, but it just does. There's some math there that I don't quite understand. So you see it's 2 together, nice and flat. Okay, so the other side, it'll get there too. And we're going to turn our work and do your final of the C to C going across. And do you see how the colors are kind of like blending so well? It makes variegated actually look pretty cool. Let's begin number 8. Row number 8, same thing what you already know. So you're going to chain 2, and in the same space at the beginning, it's 2 double crochet. See this space right here? You're going to single crochet, that's where you're going to start it, and then chain 2 and 2 double crochet into the same spot. So you're just going to jump all the way across doing this. So single, chain 2, 2 double crochet. You may be really quite surprised on how fast this will work out. One of my concepts for this design is that when you leave it nice and airy, Bernat blanket goes so much further, like in distance. So this is your last space before the end. So you're just going to chain 2, use this space and the final 2 together. Just like that. And that was row number 8. We're now going to turn our work and do number 9. So row number 9, we're going to go backwards to the way we started. Do you remember when we did the chain 3s here? We're going to do the same thing there, then we're going to do our chain 5s and then come back to the main color. So to start this row, number 9, you're going to chain up 1 and apply a single crochet into the very first one. And because it's an edge, we are just going to chain 1 and look for the chain 2 that's right here. Single crochet in there. And now the rest of it is a repeat going across. So you're going to chain 3, come to your next space, single crochet, and do that all the way across. So chain 3, come to your next space, chain 3, and this is your last space before the edge. So if you're not ready, just put me on pause. And if you're ready, after this space here is just chain 1 and single crochet to the top of the chain 2. And this brings your stitch count back to the first when you started it. And now we're going to turn our work and do row number 10. Row number 10, we're going to do those chain 5s again, and let's begin that. So we're going to start chain 1 and single crochet in the first. Ignore this chain 1 and jump right to here, the chain 3, but before you do that, you got to chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then go right to your next chain 3 right here and single crochet, and you're going to jump all the way across doing the same thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, single into the next. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when you're in the last one right here, you still have a chain 1 space here that you may not see, but it's there. You got a chain 5 still. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and single right into your last one. And now this is where this yarn ends. So we're going to trim this yarn. You can weave it in. I've already shown you how to do that. And this is going to be the section of the variegated. Okay, so it looks pretty much the same on both sides. And now, if I ended here, I'm going to turn my work, and we're going to get ready for 4 rows of the solid color once again. So let's bring back our solid color. Let's create a slip knot and put it onto the hook. You're going to come into your first single crochet. Just attach it with a slip stitch, and then chain 1 and double crochet into the same stitch. That's my preference of doing that. If you have another way, then by all means you can do that. Now, each of these chain 5 spaces only have 3 single crochets in them to allow those to arch up. So we have 1, 2, and 3. And in the next single, because we want the arch to happen, we have to double crochet into the next one. Okay, here's the next space. So 3 single crochets. So we have 1, 2, 3, and then double into the next single. And the next space, 3 single crochet. So we have 1, 2, and 3, and then double into the next single. And you're going to go all the way to the end like this. So this is your last space, so 3 single crochet. And then you can't forget that you got to double crochet into your last one to keep that arch. Okay, so you can see now it's been suspended in between. So now I'm going to turn your work and we're going to begin our next row. Number 12. To make Bernat blanket go further, it's all about adding extra chain spaces between stitches. So that's why I've done it this way. So in the next 2 rows, there are going to be some chain spaces that will do that to air it out a little bit as well. So we're going to chain 1, you'll single into the first. You're then going to chain 1, skip the next one, and single into the next. And you're going to repeat that across. So chain 1, skip the next one, single into the next. Chain 1, skip 1, single into the next. And I need you to do that all the way across. So chain 1, skip 1, single to the next. Please do that all the way across. I'll see you at the end of the row. So I'm coming all the way to the end. This is the last stitch, so I'm still skipping stitches. This is the second last one. I've already chained 1. You were going to single crochet into the last. And then turn your work and then begin the next row. So it's really subtle, but there are chain 1 spaces there, and it really makes it cool. So let's begin the next row. Row number 13, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to match exactly what we see below. So we're going to single crochet in the first, and then we are going to skip over this chain 1 space. So we're going to chain 1 to skip that space and single into the next single. So it's going to be like train tracks. Chain 1, skip the next space, go right into the next single. Chain 1, skip 1, go into your next one. And I need you to do that all the way across for row number 13. And I'll be back in a moment. So just coming to the end, chain 1, skip the last space, single into the last. And we just have one more row of this white before we return back to the beginning to start the variegated section all over again. Turn your work, and this is the number 14th and the final in the repeat. To do this row, just chain up 1, and you're going to single crochet in every stitch, including the chain 1 spaces. So single in the single, single into the space. Okay, single into the single, single into the space. Please do this all the way across for row number 14, and I'll be right back in a moment. Finally, at the end. So at the end of this, you need to get rid of this yarn, and you need to switch back to your variegated. Now we use video chapters here in the video description, as well as pinned comment here on YouTube. And what happens is that you can click the row number, and you're going back to number 3. So you're going all the way back to here, restarting this whole section over and over and over. So you're just going to repeat now rows number 3 through to 14. When you're happy with the distance of the length, then you're just going to go 3 through 11 only. And then the 12th row, instead of doing 12, you're going to repeat number 2, which is just a single crochet across. So this archway here is number 11, and so the final will just be a single crochet across the top of this here to bring it to conclusion so that it looks like the same as the beginning. You may want to put a border on it. I probably am going to do that with the real sample, and I just don't want to take away from this beautiful work, and I'll use the same color to frame it in, probably just a simple single crochet around so I don't over complicate it. And this is this concept here, and I will have changed the thumbnail by the time you see this in a pattern in the future. This is it for today, and hopefully you enjoyed my new concept.